Kind of Funny Live 2 is happening May 28th and 29th. It's a 2-day event. The first day is going to be a completely ridiculous stage show. What we have planned this year completely blows last year out of the water. And I don't even know how that's possible because we were really stupid last year, and this year's somehow even stupider. Day 2, it's going to be full day of meet and greets. We're hanging out with all of us. A bunch of Rooster Teeth people are there. Funhouse people are there. Achievement Hunter. It's going to be a grand old time. There's going to be some games to play. There's going to be signings. It's exciting. It's a really fun time. There's going to be exclusive merch. Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be exclusive merch. Go to kindoffunny.com/tickets to get your tickets today. There's a couple VIP tickets still available, so make sure if you want one of those, you act fast. I'm going to move on to topic.
I'm moving on. Rascal Flatts.
Topic 3.
What?
I'm going to split that one into 2.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because we went long on that.
How long did we go for?
44 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I got one. You know how Dan broke my ribs?
Yeah. Speaking of Dan breaking your ribs, topic 3, PAX.
Hey!
We went to PAX East 2016.
We did.
Making a note here. 44 minutes. Okay.
Good job. Good job.
We went to PAX East, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And it was very different for us.
It was very different for us.
It was the most unique PAX we've ever been to, I
didn't see any games.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of a lie because I walked around at one point for one quick thing through the indie mega booth area and all these things there. But yeah, it was a weird thing to go there and have it be our first PAX as strictly personalities. And what I mean by that is that when I was at IGN and I went to PAX, even last year when we were kind of funny and we went to PAX, we went and saw games and then reported back on the games, and that's how it worked. Whereas this one was, I had multiple panels, we had signings, we had pop-ups in the Rooster Teeth booth, we had a party, and that meant there was like 30 minutes to an hour gap between every appointment, which did not mean that we could run to the show floor and go see what's new with Ark Survival or run over and hey, what's happening with Y2K right now. Keep me updated. And that wasn't possible, which was weird because I remember, you know, the old days of being at IGN and you'd see YouTubers or whoever you want to hosts, not even like G4 people who would come and do that kind of stuff and not see games. And I was like, oh man, what a peculiar world they live in. And now we are knee deep in that world. And it was really weird. Yeah, it is weird because, you know, back when we were at IGN, I, being a video producer, would usually follow someone like you around and you'd go play the game and then you'd play a whole bunch of games. We'd walk off to just like some random side thing and then shoot a bunch of videos of what'd you think of this game? What'd you think of that game? And right. Just
too quick.
That was the content we made. Yeah.
And so I never got to play too many games when I did that. I play more games now than I used to. So that's been an interesting shift for me. But yeah, it's cool where we just get to kind of, especially now with the Rooster Teeth booth. Like now that we're with Rooster Teeth, they have the Let's Play booth, which allows us to have a place to meet fans and have
sell merch
and have a stage for us to, sell merch and, do
talk
shows
to people
and stuff, talk to people and meet so many people.
Not having to be how it used to be at the old days of like, all right, well, cool. Meet me by the snack bar and we'll say, hey, and we'll play Freedom Wars or whatever. Like it doesn't have to be that way. Yeah.
No, and it's cool because I got to hear about a whole bunch of new cool games from people that got to go play them. And they were telling me about, I was like, what'd you play? And then they explained everything.
And that was what was hard to let go at this PAX, is the fact that I do love playing games and I love PAX works, and if you've never made it to one, you got to go, is the fact that PAX works because it's a fan-driven show where the fans' passion shines through, but in that same vein, it's the indie devs that are there showing their game, and their passion meets the fans' passion. You get this awesome experience. And so, I made a point the one day where we did have 2 hours, or not even, I think 45 minutes, whatever, where I ran over from the Rooster Teeth booth and I went over there and I ran up and down the aisles, first off to touch base with so many people emailed me, wanting us to see their game, try to touch base with them, not really see games as much as see people, because I've been doing it long enough. You've been doing it long enough that usually when somebody hits me up and I watch your trailer, I can tell right off the bat if it's a Greg game, if it's a Colin game, if it's a Tim game. I don't need to play it. I can see if it's got the quality, and that's when I can sit. I keep going back and forth with showed it to you when we passed it, and we didn't get a chance to talk because they were so busy. But We Are Chicago.
Oh yeah,
is this awesome looking game that's like this narrative driven. It's gonna be totally one of the gone home, like put yourself in their shoes kind of games
in Chicago.
And I was in Chicago, not the real Chicago, not suburbs, unincorporated Glen Ellen, Chicago. And so I'm like, fuck, that game looks awesome. And I've been trying to make it work with us since GDC with them, of seeing something and doing something, but that's the kind of connection you can make. And now that we run the business and have the company, it is that, all right, cool, Supergiant just announced Pyre. And Supergiant knows we love Supergiant, and Supergiant's local, and it's like, cool. Their line was capped the entire time. I'm not going to go cut in front of people to play it. I can work that out. That at some point we'll get Greg over
Pyre
here.
looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, Pyre looks amazing, and that's the whole thing. And then, we ran over through the whole flat out there playing Axiom Verge on Vita and landing and seeing Tom Hat and talk to him. And then Chasm's there, and I'm like, I'm already sold on Chasm. I don't need to play Chasm again, Dan. And it's this weird thing of, I miss the days of, I don't know, maybe, I did too many panels this year. I did too many things.
You definitely did.
And maybe next year or next PAX Prime, I guess, what I'd like to do maybe I'll just block out 3 or 4 hours. And I'm like, that's my gameplay. I'm going over there and I'm running around and trying to play as much as I can. Because I know there is a sense of discovery over there in how it works. And you guys, obviously, if you're listening or watching this, understand it already in the way that Colin and I come home and champion a game and then about it. And it's like when we were at GDC and we were doing the Indie Night streaming, right, with like Arena Gods and all them, when we got that kid to 700 Twitter followers and he almost broke down in tears. He's like, it took me 3 years to get 300. Yeah. And it's like that ability of being like, oh, this is cool. Like it has a stamp of approval. And I like being tastemakers on that level. And that's the cool part of the job. So I miss that. But it wasn't, I don't think I missed it, but I don't think I blew past it. I think enough people reached out and I have enough demos and builds and stuff lined up that I think I know good stuff, but clearly I missed things. And
yeah, of course. I mean, and that's the cool thing is I remember my first PAX years ago at this point, maybe like 4 years ago, the Indie Mega booth it felt like a new thing still.
Yeah.
It was small. Yeah. Now PAX is the Indie
That's what it is. Yeah. It was more bewildering. We're like, oh, PlayStation has a giant booth here this year? Like, that's totally not normal. It's awesome, cool, glad you're here. But, like, usually PlayStation's like, oh, no, we're not going to be there. We're not doing anything.
Yeah, no, and it was nice. It was cool to see how many booths there are of how many different games. And, like, it's at the point now, there's so many, whether it's indie or AAA, they're everywhere. And even older games. Like, it was cool seeing older, I say, wow. Ratchet and Clank.
Sure. Games that are out.
Floor. Yeah, games that are out.
Yeah.
And it was cool seeing people have so much fun with it. And, like, seeing PlayStation put so much behind that game. I was like, oh, this deserves it. That's awesome.
And see, I think that's them being wise to how it works now. And the fact that it does that. Ratchet and Clank, for better or worse, is coming up and maybe people aren't super stoked for it. Then it comes out and people are like, wait, people like us are talking about how great it is. More you guys, obviously, I didn't play. I still haven't played. Talking about how amazing it is. And so then you get to a PAX and you do people are trying to book their VR appointments or whatever, the app, and we have time to kill, and then you see Ratchet and Clank, you pop over and see, like, I know people have been talking this up. I want to see what's up.
What's also cool about PAX is just that it's such a community show, and it's so cool that even older games have a new breath of life. Like, I was walking by and I saw Gang Beast, and crowd of people. Just having so much fun. I just popped in. Probably one of the only games I played at PAX. Game Beast. And I had a shit ton of fun.
Sure.
Because people are just there to have fun.
That's why it works. That's why PAX, has always been since my first PAX has been my favorite show. Mm-hmm. And I remember being at IGN when I first got there. Andre, who now does Gamesplain. He would go to PAX every year, and I say every year, I forget how many PAX Primes has there been?
No idea.
Exactly. But the first time I really, there's something called PAX. What is that? And he was going up to participate in the Mario Kart tournament, and he came back, and I was like, so how was he? He's like, oh, it was great. We did this, we did that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's awesome, man. And he's like, yeah, but I have to turn my badge around when we go there. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, people hate IGN there. The PAX people hate IGN. And I remember, like, that was the moment of me. I'm like, I'm going to change that. You get there and it's like, oh no, that was just him, hyperbole. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe he did have a bad experience at some point where somebody's like, fuck you, IGN guy. I'm sure that's happened. But it's always been great. But it's also been great because I go out of my way to make it great. Where I love those shows in the point, like, from playing fucking Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, like, and having these pop-up meet and greets or whatever. Like, you go out of your way to meet up with the cool kids. And luckily enough, like, all the people who care about us are cool kids. So they come to the panel and they go to the Rooster Teeth.
That's such a good point, man. Like, it was so fun to let's say at Rooster Teeth at our booth, we had me and Nick had like a pop-up at like 2 p.m. We'd be there early at like 1, spending an hour just hanging out with people. And it's just, they're fucking cool people.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best part about this whole thing is being around people that have similar interests, which means we can have conversations about, what do you like? Oh, I like this. I like that too. Have you tried this? No, I never heard of this. Cool.
That's why I always talk about it for PAX. Like, when I was growing up in the olden days, there wasn't these things. There was Comic-Con, but like, I would never go to Comic-Con out of the blue. Whereas like I've met so many people over the years at PAX conventions that do travel and came alone, and now they have this and blah, blah, blah. And like, it's what I talked about, I guess, last year for Kind of Funny Live in the packet, right? Where I'm like, if you're alone or you're just a group of two and you're waiting in line, turn to the other people and talk to them because you have a shared passion for Kinda Funny Live. It's, you know, the Kinda Funny content, but PAX is the same way of like, you've traveled somewhere to see video games. Like, even if that person likes WoW and you like Vita, like you can have a quick conversation, realize you're not compatible or whatever, and bounce. Whereas like, that's what is awesome about it. And when I'm talking about you know, that we didn't have, I'm like, I would have, if this had existed back then, I would have bent over backwards and worked every horrible job possible to get to it. Because it is such we take it for granted, right? That
Totally.
our lives are toys. Our lives are, we're going to finish this. I'm not in a hurry, but I want to finish these things to go play an unreleased video game right now, right? And all I can think about is that. No, and then you come in and you're playing the same game and you and I just sit here and talk about it forever. And a normal person who works at an accounting job or, you know, works at this place, they walk in and have no one to share their passion with. And that's why you see the internet and communities and friend groups and friends lists and all these things expand and make so much sense. But PAX is that all in real life. And I think it's intimidating to go to one of these things and not know anybody or only have a few friends or go the kids we meet are so brave in the way of like, oh yeah, you know, I'm 18 and we drove here, we flew here and da-da. I was like, fuck. At 18, I remember it was a huge deal when like me and my dumb friends were like, let's go tonight to a downtown city strip club in Chicago. And it was like
crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And like you hear like planning crazy trips, and there's the PAX 11, the Kinda Funny 11, of these 11 Kinda Funny fans staying in one hotel room. It's like, you guys are awesome and insane, and I love that. And like that's the passion. Like I always talk about, you know, when Colin isn't doing his Colin thing, where he's like, oh, Greg's got such an ego and he needs the limelight. And he's being honest. He's saying like, I know Greg's passionate about going to these, right? I'm not passionate to go to these things to get recognized, to sign autographs, dude. I'm passionate to go meet you guys and talk to the people who actually drive our content and make, because without you, then the story always went like a long time. I went to Catholic school. You might not know this about me. I don't tell many stories about myself. And somebody once described faith as a glass of water, right? When you're a little kid, the cup's small, so the water is easy to fill the glass, and you're, oh, God, got it, no big deal, right? But as you get older, the cup gets bigger and the water level is always changing in terms of what you have faith in. And I was talking about it like when we're here and we're mad at each other about somebody said something, some fucking snide comment when we were on camera, and like you didn't address it then, but you want to address it. You know, and there's all this dumb shit and like just the daily grind of making this and emails and this shit, and everything's keeping you from playing fucking video games like you want, right? It's so easy to lose sight of why this is great, but then get out there and meet you guys and talk to you and shake your hand and give you a hug and like apology, right? Like, you know, this kid. I'm
quite familiar.
This motherfucker who on Twitter had his fucking mouth. His profile pic, and he finally changed it for me one day when I gave him too much shit. Years of shit. Like, you know, he was trying to meet up with me, but you guys had already done your signing, and I was getting ready to leave, and like, it's that thing if he tweeted me, he's like, hey, where are you? And I'm like, I'm literally about to walk out the front door. And he's like, can you wait? And I'm like, of course I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course I will wait here at the front door of PAX for you to come over. And he came over and he gave me this gift or whatever. I didn't know that's what it was for, obviously. Yeah. But it's like, that's what the connection we have with you guys.
And it's really crazy because I'm so similar to you in so many of those ways and different in others where like
you're sexy, you're good looking.
And I know it. I would never, like, PAX isn't something that I'm like, I want to do that. Like, that's not something that I'm like, that sounds fun, just because to me, like outside of like being in it, I love us going, but I'm talking about like as a fan 5 years ago, right?
Sure.
Before I worked at IGN, the idea of traveling to a PAX and doing all that stuff, it is scary. Like it's too overwhelming for me to even imagine going there by myself, or even like just me and Alfredo to just go and do stuff. That's like, I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know how to get into the parties. I wouldn't know, you know, how to find my way around the booths. What should I look for? Waiting in line, all that stuff. It's like, it's overwhelming to the point of like, I wouldn't want to waste my time there. And I would feel like going there, not knowing exactly what to do would be just detrimental to the entire experience. Having said that, the most similar thing I ever did was when I was 18, I went to the Tone Deaf show, the Q5 Mega show, where me and Alfredo and a bunch of people drove from SF to LA, which when I was, I think 17 at the time, that was crazy. That was like the idea of like, I can't believe we're doing this. We're driving to a completely different city, farther than I've ever been from my house, with a bunch of my friends. And we're just going to watch this thing. And then we get there and it's like, we made so many friends. Everyone at that concert was there for the same reason. Mm-hmm. For the whole weekend, we had fun together. And like, we created memories and friendships that I'll have forever, you know? And to see that happen at Kinda Funny Live is just like, it's so overwhelmingly like, holy shit, like this is a thing that's really, really, really cool. And then to see those same people at PAX East, across the country. And it's like
with these friendships they bonded through.
They bonded, and I bonded.
Yeah,
with. You know, I see people and I'm just like, hey, what's up? Like, it's at the point now where I'll walk up to people and be like, hey, and they're just like, holy shit, you're saying hi to me? I'm like, yeah, what the fuck?
Of course
like,
I am. Yeah, I know.
There's nothing special about
that's always
this.
the funny thing about like, you know, how people treat us, but then also how people treat voice actors and developers. And you're talking about waiting in line and going to panels and stuff. And I've hosted so many PAX panels, right? And you can have a room that is filled to the brim or the first 3 rows. And those developers, those voice actors are blown away, and developers for sure are terrified to speak in front of you. But they're so like, the video game speech, right? The video game or the Game Awards speech, right? Like, that's their reality of busting their ass and breaking their backs and doing all these things, and usually only getting, you fucking suck. Why'd you take this mode out? Why is it episodic? Da, 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 you know what I mean? All these different things. So to get there and have it be, if it's 20 people or 200 people or 2,000 people telling them that you've connected with their product, their art, that's like crazy for them. And voice actors especially, right, that are like so behind the scenes, like not getting stopped in the streets kind of thing, but like to go there and have it be a huge fucking deal that the voice of X is here right now talking to me, answering my question. They are like, to see what they get out of it. I always talk about it, you know, not a PAX, but similar experience when we did New York Comic Con that year with the GTA 5 guys.
Oh yeah.
And like we walked in there and that place went like, they were like the fucking Beatles. And I've never seen 3 grown men, because it was all, you know, all of them, like get bigger smiles and be so blown away. And like, I am blanking on his name. Fontaine. Why can't I remember his name? Damn it.
Franklin?
Yeah, Franklin, but the actor's name. Franklin's actor. Sean Fontaine? That sounds right. Franklin's actor. You know, like when it all happened, he turned around and he gave me his phone. He's like, Greg, please take pictures. Please. Because like he thought it was going to end. And it was 15 minutes of pandemonium of people rushing the stage and giving them things to sign and da-da-da-da. Like I had to finally sit everyone down. But like that's their world too. In the same breath, right? Of like, they are like, you know, now Trevor's of course on Walking Dead or whatever. It's a little bit different, Stephen Ogg. But like at that moment, like that was their holy crap, we've made something that people care about.
And that's awesome. And I think that, you know, it's awesome that the, you know, Twitter and social media and stuff allows people to get to know those guys, get to know the voice actors, get to know devs, get to know people in a way that years ago, like that totally wasn't the thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
The closest you get to understanding people in video games was whoever wrote an EGM. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
looking at a picture of someone's face in a circle.
That's why I idolized Shu for so long.
You know, because that's all you had. Like you can connect to that person. Now you can connect to all these people, but there's something about PAX that just, it's positive. You know, it's like the good comments on the internet.
Yeah, no,
they're all in a room though.
And that's the thing is, yes, and that's my faith analogy, right? Of like, it's the negativity and your own stress and all the dumb shit knocks the water level down in that cup. But then to go there and have people freak out to meet you because they enjoy your work, that's what fills it all up. And you come back, I come back recharged, ready to go and ready to be whatever I need to be for people. And the reason I do so many panels is because I want to be there for everybody. I want to be able to, I want to try to touch everyone who wants to be touched. I'm trying to get Franklin's actor's name because I feel like an asshole.
Yeah, no, I mean that's such a good point. And like, it's so funny that the just raw passion that people have to be positive at these shows is very inspiring to me. Even like, it's just misguided positivity sometimes. Like something I thought was really funny was we did our the Kind of Funny party in PAX East, and it was Kind of Funny the Hitman party. So it was a Square party. And you know, people don't necessarily know all the inner workings of how all this stuff works. People hear Square, they think Final Fantasy, you know, that's
Sean Fonteno. I apologize.
You were close.
Sean.
You were close. You know, they think Final Fantasy, and it's just like, there's not everybody understands first party, second party, third party,
right.
exclusives and all this stuff. So they hear Square, they think Final Fantasy. We were at the Square party, and we had a amazing line of people waiting for us to say hi and take pictures and stuff, which was fucking awesome. Then there was this couple that came up that was thanking us for making Final Fantasy. And they were just talking about
problem.
How excited and so passionate they are about the franchise and how much it means to them and this and that. And like, they were so just like, blah, 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 blah. They're like, there wasn't even a moment to be like, yo, we didn't make that, like whatever. But it's just like, I just love that they didn't know who the fuck we were.
Right.
But they wanted to thank us because they thought
they
we
get
were
it.
those
They
guys.
get, yeah, exactly.
And
it
was just like, that moment hit me where I was like, oh man, like I love that I'm just in a room with people that just want to be positive and just want to be thankful and just want to enjoy the things that they enjoy.
And that's why it works. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of like, I would have gone to that in a heartbeat knowing what it is. I think maybe if if I'm 18 and I'm in Chicago and PAX starts and I don't know that, I wouldn't go. But now knowing what I know, I would totally go.
That's the thing. Honestly, I think a good way to wrap this up is if you have ever questioned if it's worth going to one of these events, go to it.
Right.
I think that you owe it to yourself to experience it and have that fun and do what Greg's saying. Everyone there is there just for the same reasons you are. Talk to them.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. You're gonna get in as much as you put into it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get out whatever you put in. So if you go there and you clam up, talk to me, you're like, this sucked. I don't know why they were saying go there. But if you go there and it is, holy shit, you're in a Metal Gear jacket. I love Metal Gear. What are you doing? You want to hang out? Like, you can just say that because it's just, and I know that's intimidating. But I just come from the guy like I always talk about when I went to Mizzou and like that first weekend, my friends went away and I was just like knocking on doors. I'm like, I don't know anybody. You want to hang out? Like, I got nothing to lose.
Yeah, no, for sure. So definitely give it a shot. And I know for a fact that all of you at least somewhat like Kind of Funny. So you should come to Kind of Funny Live too and experience a bit of this.
This wasn't a whole ad for Kind of Funny Live, was it?
No, it wasn't. Okay. But I mean, it felt that.
At the end now, it does feel that way. I'm being very clear.
Here's my thing. I like natural transitions. Right. I'm not going to not take advantage of this moment.
I'm just saying to be clear that this was not the Telegraph move.
kindoffunny.com/tickets.
You can hang out with your best friends there too. And like literally those people are literally there for one reason. Well, now some of them might like Bernie, but literally the rest of them are there for us.
That's so funny. We're so good at our jobs that we don't even know when we're being good at our jobs. I think we're just bad at our jobs, but we fall into it.
I don't think that's possible.
It's somewhere.
Because it's the same thing I always talk about on PS I Love You, XOXO, available every Tuesday at 9 a.m., where Colin and I literally say nothing to each other about what's going to happen on that show. Yeah. But inevitably, there's all these like perfect transitions and perfect things. And I'm like, it's as if we planned this, and I assure you we did not.
I will run with that. All right.
Porty, what's wrong?
All right. So